Hello students, today we'll discuss the topic 1.3 insects as a vectors, and in that the four vectors that are mosquito, housefly, sandfly and tsetse fly. What are the vectors? Vectors are organisms that transmit the pathogens from one host to the another, and most commonly known biological vectors are the arthropods. And these are the mosquito, housefly, sandfly, and tsetse fly. Among these, the first one is mosquito. This mosquito, it transmits the pathogens that are the protozoans, then bacteria, viruses, and the helminths. We'll discuss all these one by one. The first one, the protozoans. The malaria, which is caused by the plasmodium, that are transmitted from one person to another person by the Anopheles mosquito. And this plasmodium, it causes the disease that we called it as a malaria. So the pathogens of the malaria, that is a plasmodium or the sporozoites of the plasmodium, these are transmitted from one person to the another person, or from the patient to the what healthy person by the bite of the what Anopheles mosquito. Then the next one is a what helminth. The mosquito also transmit the helminth pathogens. The female Culex, Mansonia, and the Anopheles mosquito can carry the filariasis worm, that is the Wucheria bankrupti, and that transmits from the on, from the patient or from the infected person to the healthy person. This parasite causes the disfiguring condition, and commonly it is called as elephantiasis, which is characterized by the great swelling of several parts of the body. The microfilariae are transmitted through the bite of mosquito into the healthy person. And therefore, these mosquito, that is a Culex mansonia anopheles, act as a vector for the filarial worm, that is a Wucheria bancrofti. Then these mosquitoes are also transmitters or the carriers of the viruses. And these viruses of causes the yellow fever, dengue fever, and the chikungunya. And the transmitters or the viruses which transmitted these diseases are the Aedes aegypti, then the Culex, Aedes aegypti, Culex, and the Culicita. And these are involved in the transmission of the viral diseases like this epidemic polyarthritis, Rift Valley fever, Ross River fever, then encephalitis, West Nile fever, and the encephalitis. So these mosquitoes also transmits the viral pathogens which causes the various diseases like yellow fever, dengue fever, and the chikungunya. The dengue fever, it is primarily a disease of tropics, and that is transmitted by the Aedes aegypti mosquito, and it is also caused by the another species, that is the Aedes albopictus. And those infected with the dengue, it suffers from the spectrum of illness ranging from viral flu to severe and fatal hemorrhagic fever. Then the yellow fever is also, or the virus of the yellow fever, it is transmitted by the bite of the Aedes aegypti mosquito. The symptoms of yellow fevers are the fever, then chill, then headache, backache, nausea, vomiting, and the jaundice. So, this pathogen or the virus of the yellow fever, it is transmitted by the Aedes aegypti. Then the encephalitis, in this encephalitis, it causes the damage to the central nervous system and it causes the swelling of the brain and the symptoms may occur within 2 to 10 days after being bitten by the infected mosquitoes. The symptoms of encephalitis are high fever, stiff neck, headache, confusion, and lethargy. So the virus of is also transmitted by the mosquito. The West Nile virus is also transmitted by the mosquito, which includes the fever, headache, nausea, vomiting, and the rash. So all these diseases that the mosquito having ability to transmit the protozoan pathogens, then the helminth pathogens and the viral pathogens. The mosquito doesn't transmit the bacterial pathogens. Then the housefly. Houseflies are these are the species specific name is the Musca domestica and they are recognized as carriers of easily communicable diseases. Flies collect pathogens on their legs and mouths, and when female lay eggs on decomposing organic matter such as fecal, garbage, and animal corpses. Houseflies carry diseases on their legs and small hairs that cover their bodies. It takes only a matter of seconds for them to transfer the pathogen to food or the touch surfaces. Mature houseflies also use saliva to liquefy the solid food before feeding on it. During this process, they transfer the pathogens first collected by landing on the offal. The mechanical transmission of organism on its hairs, mouth parts, omites, and the fecal matter or the feces. So housefly transmits all the four types of the pathogens. Bacterial pathogens, protozoan pathogens, helminth pathogens, and the viruses. What are the bacteria or the bacterial pathogens which are transmitted by the houseflies that are mainly Salmonella, which causes the typhoid, then Vibrio cholerae, which causes the cholera, then Shigella, which causes the dysentery, then Mycobacterium tuberculin that causes the tuberculosis, then pyogenic cocci, anthrax, Campylobacter, and the E. coli. These all different types of the bacteria are transmitted by these houseflies. Then these houseflies also transmits the protozoan parasites that are the Entamoeba histolytica and the Giardia lamblia. These transmits or transfer the cyst of these Entamoeba histolytica and the Giardia lamblia and it contaminates the food. Then this also transmits the eggs of the helminth and thus it acts as a vector for the helminth diseases. It transmits the eggs of the ascaris, then trichuris, Hymenopus nana, and the Enterobius vermicularis. Along with this, it also transmits the viruses of the poliomyelitis viruses, then viral hepatitis A and E. These are the four types or the four different pathogens that is the bacterial pathogens, then helminth and the viruses. All these are transmitted by the housefly. How can you control the house flies? That by using the insecticide and the pesticide and keeping the cleanliness. Along with that, control the poultry operations. Need to keep the manual dry. Dairy farms where they specifically breed, these are kept dry. Then the restaurant should remove the garbage at least twice a week and keep the area clean. Then the next vector is a sandfly. This is the common name is a sandfly. The generic name is the Plebotomus. This Plebotomus, it carries the that bacterial disease, bacterial pathogen, that is a Bartonella bacilliformis, which causes a carrion disease, Oreo fever in South America. And in parts of Asia and Africa, they spread a viral agent that causes a sandfly fever, that is a papacy fever, as well as the protozoan pathogen that causes a leishmaniasis, that is a leishmania. That means the sandfly, it is a transmitter of the bacteria and the protozoan parasite. So, and it doesn't transmit the uh, viral diseases, and so it transmits the what the protozoan parasite, that is the leishmania, which causes the leishmaniasis, and it transmits the bacterium, that is a Bartonella bacilliformis, that causes the carrion's disease. Then the last vector is a tsetse fly, and these tsetse flies, these are the of the genus Glossina, and these transmit the protozoan, that causes the African sleeping sickness, that is caused by the Trypanosoma gambians, and it also causes a oriental sore or the skin sore, that caused by the Trypanosoma rhodensi. And these tsetse fly are the blood-sucking flies of the genus Glossina, and the larva of the tsetse fly develops inside the body of mother until it is ready to pupate in the soil. And these tsetse flies can be controlled by using the insecticide and the pesticides. Also, sterilized male flies can be released to control the fly reproduction. So the tsetse fly having ability to transmit only the protozoan pathogen, and which is that protozoan pathogen, that is a Trypanosoma gambians and Trypanosoma rhodensi, which causes the African sleeping sickness or the oriental sore. Then these the sandfly having ability to transmit or transfer or act as a vector for the bacteria and the protozoan, which is that bacteria Bartonella bacilliformis, that causes the carrion's disease in South America, and it transmits or it act as a vector for the protozoan pathogen, that is a leishmania, which causes the leishmaniasis. Then we have discussed the what this housefly that act as a transmitter of all these four pathogens, that is the bacterial, protozoan, helminth, and viruses, while the mosquito is a transmitter of the this protozoan and the protozoans, then the virus and the what the helminth parasite, and not the bacterial parasites. So all these are the what the vectors of the diseases. That four vectors. This figure is of the what? This is a mosquito. Then this is a housefly. This is the sandfly, and this is a Glossina palpalis. That is a tsetse fly. All these are the four flies which act as a. These are the flies and the mosquito that act as a what the vectors of the various diseases or the vectors of the various pathogens which causes the different type of the diseases. Thank you.